Alone in a basement, Jay is going crazy. His body won't stop itching, but he has to fight the urge to scratch. The sensation is so overwhelming that he grabs a gun and for a moment he considers self-deleting. He stops himself just in time and instead he grabs some pliers. By using them on his nails, the pain manages to silence the itching. This all started early in the morning. After a night of drinking, Jay wakes up because his father Joe keeps pounding on the door. Joe has come by to drop off Olivia, so Jay sends his daughter inside. When Joe explains that his wife is sick, Jay decides he'll open the store today so Joe can take care of his mother. While getting ready for the day, Jay keeps scratching his neck. He also thinks about his late wife, whose first symptom had been throwing up. She was in the hospital for a while and the bills are still a problem. Olivia communicates with Jay by writing in her notebook and tells him she wants to visit her mom, but Jay explains they can't and wishes she'd just talk to him. When Jay drops Olivia off at school, he asks if the other kids are still bothering her and she nods. He offers to talk to her teacher, but Olivia says no. Jay wants her to stand up for herself, yet Olivia leaves without paying attention to his advice. Then Jay discovers she accidentally dropped her notebook, so he looks at her drawings and is quite upset by what he sees. His fights with his wife, his drinking, his wife at the hospital, and how much Olivia misses her. Memories of his wife covered in blood flash through his mind, but Jay snaps out of it when a school guard taps his car window. The man takes the notebook and gives it to Olivia before escorting her into the building. While driving around town, Jay keeps drinking. On the radio, a man complains about the recent scabies outbreak and blames it on refugees. Another caller thinks that the itch that is going around is a lie and people are just getting hurt for attention on social media. When Jay finally makes it to the family store, he's approached by Miguel, who reminds him he owes him money. Jay doesn't know what he's talking about and notices that Miguel keeps scratching his face. Miguel threatens to hurt him if he doesn't get his money soon and leaves. Jay then opens the store and employee Lisa explains that Joe fired Miguel. Henry calls the police. In the office, his wife's paintings are still decorating the walls, and he can't stop thinking about her and Olivia painting together. When the new products arrive, Jay opens a special hatch on the street that allows the boxes to slide right into the basement. Sometime later a woman covered in blood enters the store to ask for help, claiming that something is biting her. When she starts scratching, she takes it too far and causes damage, yelling that she feels like she's on fire. Jay tries to make her stop but the woman collapses as she throws up blood. Lisa calls the cops and as soon as they arrive, Jay tells them that the woman complained about an itch. The detective explains this isn't the first case. At first he thought it was a social media stunt, but he's seen enough people today to confirm it's real. The cops advise Jay to be careful and leave to take the woman to the hospital. Afterward Jay gets a call from Joe, who learned what happened from Lisa. Jay gets the chance to ask him about Miguel, so Joe says he caught him stealing and that's why he fired him. Joe's wife keeps coughing in the background and Jay tells his dad to call a doctor, but Joe claims it's just a bug and it'll pass soon. When Jay looks out the window, he sees another man scratching his face. He thinks about his wife and how she asked him to raise Olivia right, but Jay answered that he couldn't do it alone. Jay decides to go for a walk and keeps drinking while noticing more people scratching on the street. Moments later Jay receives a call from a teacher asking him to pick Olivia up because she bit another child. Jay rushes to the school and tries to communicate with Olivia, who covers her ears and starts humming to avoid his scolding. Feeling like he's about to lose it, Jay counts down from 10 to calm down and finally agrees to take Olivia to the cemetery. The girl talks to her mother's grave but does it in whispers, so Jay can't hear her. On their way to the store, Olivia starts ripping pages off her notebook. When she hears some sirens nearby, she turns on the radio to cover up the noise. The news host says that violent incidents are taking over the city and local hospitals are overwhelmed with people who have hurt themselves. Airports have canceled all flights and there are rumors of a terror attack. When they arrive at the store, Jay notices that most of the neighboring shops have closed early. In the evening when it's almost closing time, two robbers enter the store and force Lisa to lower the shutters. While Lisa puts all the money from the register in a bag, Gabriella makes Jay take her partner to the safe. Behind a shelf, customer Olivia is also hiding and accidentally kicks a can, which is heard by Gabriella. In the basement, Jay fails to open the safe. The robber tries to threaten him and Jay thinks the voice sounds familiar, so he pulls down the man's bandana to reveal Miguel. Jay asks him to take the money and leave, promising not to say anything. Suddenly they hear a gunshot, so Jay runs back to the store and finds Olivia. He gives her his locator in case of an emergency and sends her to hide in the basement. Then Jay grabs a utility knife from the shelves and carefully sneaks around until he finds Lisa, who was shot. Gabriella explains that Olivia bit her, which caused her to accidentally fire her gun. Jay makes Miguel keep his hands on the injuries while he grabs a few things to stop the bleeding. Cotton is inserted into the bullet holes and tape is wrapped around Lisa's stomach as a makeshift bandage. At that moment a police officer arrives and starts banging on the shutters. Gabriella and Miguel watch him on the security cameras, arguing about what to do. Suddenly the cop is surrounded by some crazy people who start to beat him up. At the same time, Henry comes out of hiding and plays the emergency message that just arrived on his phone. Because of an outbreak of something called the itch, the city is under lockdown. The symptom of this new disease is the uncontrollable urge to scratch themselves and others. Gabriella thinks this is a joke and Jay tries to calm her down, only for her to threaten him. Now that she's close enough, Jay captures her and takes the gun before pushing her toward Miguel. Afterward, Jay and Henry tie Miguel and Gabriella to a column using tape and zip ties. On the phone, it's announced that all emergency operations are suspended. Anyone who spends more than 10 seconds scratching will be considered a threat to public safety and dealt with using deadly force. Suddenly Jay hears his locator ringing, so he rushes to the basement and finds a person scratching another one to death. When the crazy person turns around and tries to attack Jay too, he has no choice but to shoot her. After picking up the locator, he notices that the hatch is open, explaining how 2 people got in. He closes it with a padlock before searching the room until he finds Olivia hiding in the supplies closet. Jay takes Olivia away, unaware that one of the bodies is moving a hand. After leaving Olivia in the office with the locator, Jay returns to the store and Miguel tells him that Henry has run upstairs. Jay rushes upstairs too and finds Henry with an axe, so he keeps the gun pointed at him. Henry drops the axe and swears he's not a violent person, he just reacted in fear. Jay lets him go to the bathroom before pulling out his phone to check the news. Some politicians deny the existence of the itch while lots of civilians record themselves scratching. Jay then tries to call Joe, but he won't pick up. Afterward, Jay and Henry return to the store and wonder if they've been exposed to the itch because of the bodies in the basement. Miguel tells them this is an emergency and they should work together. He also reveals that his niece is pregnant. This convinces Jay to untie them. When the group checks on Lisa, she confesses that she was the one stealing and apologizes to Miguel. Suddenly they hear gunshots, so they check the security cameras and discover that the police are driving around the city shooting all the infected people, including the officer at the door. Henry reads on his phone that the itch appears to be caused by a parasite capable of regeneration, but Gabriella calls it the work of the devil. Jay decides they should rest and take turns watching over Lisa. Upstairs, Miguel scolds Gabriella for using the gun. Gabriella reminds him that he was supposed to take care of her after her dad died, but Miguel points out she's always getting in trouble. Meanwhile, Henry keeps looking at a picture of his boyfriend, only to start scratching his face. He counts down from 10 to calm down. In the office, Olivia wonders if Lisa's injury is her fault, so Jay assures her it isn't. When she asks what's happening, he only tells her that people are sick and promises to protect her. Olivia then asks about her grandfather, so Jay tries calling him again. This time Joe picks up, but he only tells Olivia that he loves her before asking Jay for privacy. Jay hides behind the shelves before Joe tells him that his mother is infected and has scratched him. Since he doesn't want them to suffer, Joe plans to kill her and self-delete before it's too late. Jay begs him to wait, but Joe only says "I love you" before hanging up. When Jay has a breakdown, Olivia rushes to hug him. To distract her, he plays a happy video of Joe's last birthday party. Once she falls asleep, Jay takes her back to the office, only to notice that she's scratching. He starts a countdown and is relieved to see her stop before he reaches 0. While Jay checks on Lisa, he hears some weird noises outside. He checks the security cameras and discovers that the officer is coming back to life. Meanwhile, Gabriella sneaks around to steal a hammer, but Miguel stops her from attacking just in time. Everyone joins Jay to look at the camera and they realize that the bodies in the basement may wake up too. Henry agrees to look after the girls while Miguel and Jay go to investigate. In the basement, they only find one of the bodies, and Jay thinks they should cut his head off. However, Miguel thinks that it'd be sacrilege. Suddenly the dead guy wakes up and grabs Miguel's leg. Panicking, Miguel starts attacking him with an axe while Jay shoots him. When they hear a noise, the duo turns around and the infected woman takes the chance to run upstairs. The guys quickly follow her, only to discover that Gabriella has already brought her down with a hammer. Afterward, they put the bodies in tanks and fill them with corrosive chemicals to dissolve them. The sight is so nasty that it makes Miguel puke. Jay tells him that he never believed he was stealing, but Miguel thinks it's too late to change things. He explains that Gabriella was impregnated by her boss, who isn't helping her out because he had wanted her to terminate the pregnancy. At that moment, Henry calls everyone because he's found Lisa dead. While they cover her body with a sheet, Gabriella's guilt causes her to snap at Olivia, blaming her for making her shoot the gun. Jay takes Olivia back to the office and Miguel follows him to apologize for his niece. He also points out that Lisa was Catholic, so they need to do things right. The group holds a small funeral and Olivia leaves a drawing on Lisa while Miguel prays. Gabriella then takes responsibility for what happened and apologizes to Olivia, who agrees to a fist bump. When Henry is about to move the body, Lisa wakes up and grabs his arm. Jay holds her down while Henry runs to grab the register, which he uses to smash her head to death. While Miguel and Jay throw Lisa's in the chemical tank too, Henry goes to the bathroom to wash up. He realizes he's been scratched, but when the others ask if he's hurt, he denies it. Miguel says they're stuck in hell and thinks about his family, who he left back in Mexico. Now he wishes he never came to the USA. Afterward, Jay prepares a table with some canned foods and candles so they can have a nice dinner together. However, they're interrupted by an explosion outside. The sounds keep getting worse, but there's nothing they can do, so Jay plays some music on his phone and they proceed to have dinner. Jay brings out a bottle of whiskey that his father kept hidden in the store, but he lets Miguel and Henry drink while he announces he'll stay sober from now on. Henry shares that he hasn't seen his family since he came out of the closet, so he appreciates this moment. When Olivia needs the bathroom, Gabriella volunteers to take her. Jay tells the guys that Olivia hasn't spoken since her mother died, and that he and his wife drifted apart after Olivia's birth. Jay also reveals he cheated on his wife and they were about to separate when she got cancer. He had to watch her suffer and drowned his guilt in alcohol. At that moment the music stops playing because the phone loses signal. An emergency message announces that all communications have been disabled to protect against a foreign threat. Martial law is now in effect and all civilians must stay in quarantine. Henry starts scratching and Jay wonders if he's okay, but Henry quickly stops and counts down from 10 to prove he's fine. Suddenly they hear screaming, so Miguel and Jay run upstairs. As soon as they're gone, Henry continues to scratch like crazy. In the bathroom, the guys discover that Gabriella has had a miscarriage, so she's holding her dead baby in her hands. Miguel rushes to comfort her and notices that she's burning up. Henry believes it's sepsis, meaning she'll die without antibiotics. There's a pharmacy down the block but Henry thinks it's too risky. Miguel wants to go anyway because it's his duty to protect his niece, and Jay has flashbacks to failing his family that cause him to agree. After getting the gun, Miguel leaves the store. Jay is too worried and keeps pacing while scratching his shoulder, but he stops when Henry asks him if he's fine. As soon as Jay goes to another room to calm down, Henry desperately scratches his whole body. He then heads to the toilet in the basement, unaware that Jay is counting his scratches too. In the bathroom, Henry is horrified to see that he's peeing blood. Unable to deal with the itch anymore, he starts scratching so hard that he causes several injuries. Hearing lots of cursing, Jay comes to the basement with an axe and finds the blood on the toilet, but no Henry. He searches for him and tries to open the supplies closet, but a bloody hand keeps it closed. Henry says he doesn't want to hurt anyone and asks Jay to lock him up. However, Jay says he can't take any chances, and Henry completely understands he needs to protect Olivia. When Henry stops talking, Jay opens the door. A transformed Henry comes out and attacks Jay, causing him to drop the axe. The men struggle on the floor as Henry tries to choke Jay, only for Henry to suddenly drop dead. It turns out Olivia threw the axe at him. Jay sends her back to the store before using the axe to chop the body into pieces. Afterward, Jay washes up and discovers he's been scratched. At that moment he hears a noise and rushes to the store, where he finds Miguel pounding on the shutters because he's back with the medication. After some hesitation, Jay raises the shutters so Miguel can pass and brings them down just in time to stop an infected person from following him. Before opening the door, Jay makes Miguel prove that he isn't wounded. Miguel quickly shows him his arm before offering the gun and the medicine, saying that Gabriella matters more. Jay takes the things from him and leaves him behind the door before going to see a sleeping Gabriella. However, when he moves the blanket, he discovers she's been scratched. After dropping the medicine, Jay asks Miguel about the outside world. Miguel confirms it's hell and that everyone is getting shot. Jay tells Miguel about Henry and admits he's sick too, so he grabs anti-itch cream and covers his body. Then he brings some sleeping medicine to Olivia and explains he can't be with her anymore because he's sick. Olivia writes, "I need you," so Jay assures her she'll be fine because she's as brave as her mother. As he cries, he gives her his phone so she can protect all their memories in pictures and videos. They tell each other "I love you" before Olivia falls asleep. Upstairs, Gabriella has started to scratch pretty badly. Her skin comes off and several wounds are bleeding. Before she can transform, Jay puts a pillow on her face and presses it until she's dead. Behind the door, Miguel starts to scratch as well, and his skin is extremely red. Jay counts down but Miguel won't stop, confirming he's infected. Miguel asks him to see Gabriella, so Jay opens the door to let him pass. Miguel has a breakdown when he finds Gabriella dead and realizes that Jay killed her, which enrages him. Jay immediately pulls out his gun but he's out of ammo, so Miguel jumps on him and captures him in a chokehold. The men struggle on the floor until Jay finally passes out. Then Miguel puts the bullets back into the gun, revealing he took them out before he gave it to Jay. Hungry for revenge, Miguel points the gun at Olivia and prays. Before he can shoot, he hears a noise and follows it upstairs to discover that Gabriella has revived as a mindless monster. Jay wakes up too and uses the distraction to grab Miguel from behind and slash his neck. Then Jay grabs the gun and shoots Gabriella. Afterward, Jay cleans the store and locks the door so his daughter is safe. He leaves a letter on her notebook before going to the basement, where he seals all the windows and doors as well. When the itching becomes too much to handle, he uses the pliers on the nails. Sometime later, Olivia wakes up and finds a list of daily chores to survive that Jay wrote on a board. After reading the letter, she goes to the basement and says aloud, "Daddy, I'm here for you." Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.